Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Cassandra and today I wanted to do a different kind of video for you guys. I've been really craving more vlog style videos where I talk about more than just yoga. Now, if all you're interested from my channel are my weekly yoga classes, don't worry, that is not going away anytime soon or ever really. I will still be putting out new full-length yoga classes every single Thursday. However, I would like to start making videos like these hopefully on a weekly basis. So a couple weeks ago, I made this video called 4 Steps to Manifesting, and I shared with you what my personal opinion is about the law of attraction and the secret and manifesting and all that stuff, and how I've used that for my own personal and professional life. That was a really scary video for me to put out there, and at first when I put it up, I didn't even make it public. I just let a couple people, select people, watch it because I was just so worried about what other people would think of me, and it was really taking a big step out of my comfort zone and into the unknown. My cat, Kit Kat, is in the background, as you can tell. But at the end of the day, I still made that video public, and I'm so glad that I did. The response has been absolutely wonderful and overwhelmingly positive. That to me was a very big, clear indication that I need to keep doing more of these videos. So in that 4 Steps to Manifesting video, we briefly touched on the subject of abundance and we briefly spoke about mindsets, but in that video, it was more about the growth mindset. So if you're not really sure what I'm talking about, please go and watch that video. It's going to give you like a good introduction to what we're talking about here today. And also, as you are watching this video, I encourage you to download the worksheet that goes along with it. I'm going to share with you some resources that help me, and it'll just take you a couple exercises that can help you really apply what we go over today. But really, I wanted to make a video that was specifically discussing and dissecting the mindset of abundance as opposed to a mindset of scarcity. To me, the scarcity mentality is something that is completely plaguing our existence. It's extremely prevalent in the world of being a yoga teacher, or anyone who's a health and wellness professional, or really anyone who works in the spiritual field. A lot of professionals in that area are totally weighed down by a scarcity mindset, and this is myself included when I was just starting off. It took me a long time to break away from scarcity and move to an abundance mindset, and every now and then I experience setbacks that totally trigger me and send me back in that downward spiral of scarcity and lack mindset thinking. However, I wanted to share with you today how I shift myself from scarcity to abundance, the practices that I put in place, and what I recommend that you do if you feel yourself going down that negative spiral. But before we get into that, let's just first of all define and look at what is a scarcity mindset and what is an abundance mindset. Why should you care? Why should you try to cultivate and adopt an abundance mindset? So let's look at scarcity first. A scarcity mindset is the belief, like a deep-rooted core belief, that there simply isn't enough for everyone. This can be a belief that is very conscious, that you are aware of, that you are able to verbalize and tell other people. You might be, saying phrases like money doesn't grow on trees, or the means justify the ends, things like that. Or for a lot of people, a scarcity mindset is something that they carry around with them that's totally unconscious. They don't even really realize that this is something that is affecting the decisions that they make into the world. For many of us, we've grown up in a society, a family, a community, a culture that has taught us that you need to strive to get ahead of others, and that the only way that you can do that is to put others down so that you can go up in turn. People who have scarcity mindsets are often going to be the first person to judge, criticize, and gossip about others. So they are also going to be the first kind of people to point out the flaw in something or someone, and they are also going to be extremely resentful of the success of others. If you have a hard time being happy when something good happens to someone that you know, or even someone that you don't know, that's a pretty good indication that it's your scarcity mindset and your insecurities starting to rear its ugly head again. Scarcity is deeply rooted in insecurity. It's this belief that we are not enough the way that we are right now. Therefore, we always need to be proving our self-worth to the world and to the people around us. And so whenever someone has something that we want and we don't have, instead of being happy for them, we kind of see it as a slight and as a reinforcement of the belief that we are not enough the way that we are now. So instead of being happy for that other person, we either try to tear them down or we feel really bad about ourselves. People who have scarcity mindsets might also avoid challenges because they simply don't want to risk failing. They're way too afraid of failure, way too afraid of what other people are going to think about them. They always are constantly worried about the image they are presenting forward and the image that shows success or shows the picture perfect life that they want other people to see and believe to be true about them. They might also have a really hard time sharing information. Sharing is not something that the scarcity mindset will ever allow, because again, if you share your secrets, if you share your knowledge and your wisdom with other people, then you would be giving those people the opportunity to beat you and get ahead from you. And the scarcity mindset is constantly telling you that you need to survive, and the only way that you can survive is by being ahead, taking care of yourself first and letting other people take care of themselves. It's very difficult for people with a scarcity mindset to lend a hand, to share their time, share their money, share their wisdom, share anything really, because they are just simply stuck in survival mode. They might also get defensive easily. They're going to be criticizing and judging other people. They might have a hard time thinking outside the box. And to me, a really clear, dead giveaway that you have a scarcity mindset is just this belief that other people's achievements diminish your own chances of getting that achievements. You truly do not believe that there is enough room for everyone, and you don't believe that there's enough to go around. Therefore, when other people have something good happen to them, it makes you feel bad. The abundance mindset is completely on the other end of that spectrum. The abundance mindset is deeply rooted in the belief that who you are and where you are in life right now is fine. There is nothing wrong with it. In fact, it's great. And it's also rooted in the belief that the achievements and the accomplishments of others are things to be celebrated and things to be inspired by, because you know that just because someone else has something doesn't mean you can't get that very thing for yourself. You find inspiration and creativity from the success of others because it inspires you to go after something that maybe before you wouldn't have gone after. An abundance mindset believes that there is plenty of room at the top. There is more than enough for everyone, and believes that there is more value in helping each other rise up than to put each other down in order to get ahead for yourself. It focuses on the collaboration versus the competition, on the collective community as opposed to the me, myself, and I, the selfish wants and desires. This isn't to say that someone with an abundance mindset can't strive to reach goals and can't do well in a certain area and can't focus on their own needs and desires. They absolutely can. And every time that they strive for something that they want, they are going to know that whether they get that thing or they don't get that thing, it's okay. It doesn't reflect badly on who they are as a person. They don't really have anything to prove. There's a lightness, a playfulness, and a sense of fun and adventure and creativity whenever they try to go after something else in their lives. Someone with an abundance mindset believes that a rising tide lifts all boats. They are not threatened by the success of others. It is not a threat to who they are and the image that they put out to the world. In fact, they are just going to see it as a source of inspiration. Someone with an abundance mindset is secure with their own flaws. This isn't to say that they don't have insecurity. They probably do have a ton of insecurities, but they have some awareness and some conscious knowing of what those insecurities are, so that when they start to present themselves in their interactions with others, they're not completely overtaken by those insecurities. They're able to acknowledge it, release it, and step into a place that's a little bit more accepting, a little bit more nurturing, a little bit more positive active and productive in nature. To me, stepping into the abundance mindset is like getting the key that unlocks every single door that you could ever think about. Having the abundance mindset is a way to completely shift your perspective. All of a sudden, all these people who you thought were your competition end up being your teammates, end up being the people for you to collaborate with. Every achievement that someone else has is an opportunity for you to celebrate, to be happy, to practice gratitude for what you already have, and to also practice loving and supporting another person along their own path. You know that your self-worth is not really determined by your achievements and by the things that you project to the outside world. Your sense of self-worth comes from deep within you. And once you have that security with who you are as a person and where you are in life, it's kind of magical how all of a sudden these achievements that you've been seeking before kind of magnetize themselves towards you and become that much easier for you to go and attain, even though before in your scarcity mindset, you might have been striving for those achievements and pushing people down, and somehow it just simply wasn't working out for you. I truly believe that when we shift from scarcity to abundance, we allow and we make space for magic to happen into our lives. All of a sudden, people around us want to help us reach our goals because they know that when we are trying to help them, when we are trying to reach out to them, we're not doing it from a selfish point of view of what can you give me? How can you help me reach my goals? But it's a mutual collaboration, and we are both trying to raise each other up. Now, as I mentioned, everyone at one point or another, I believe, shifts into a scarcity mindset. It is not something that you do once and all of a sudden you have your abundance mindset and it is set for life. For me, it has to be a practice. And there are 4 key things that I think people need to start practicing very regularly if they want to start shifting away from scarcity and moving towards the abundance mindset. Imagine what it would be like to just have this abundance mindset. It's like a big exhale, a sigh of relief, knowing that everything is okay. It's going to work out. You don't always need to compete with everyone. You don't need to compare yourself to everyone. You don't need to put other people down. You don't need to justify your existence. It's okay for you to just be who you are, knowing that there's plenty of room for everyone and there's plenty to go around. Wouldn't that be nice? So if that is something that you would like to do, I recommend doing these 4 things. So the first step is super important, and it is to shift from competition to collaboration. All these people that would normally make you feel really threatened or make you feel really insecure about yourself, instead of viewing them as the other, see them as a reflection of who you are and reach out to them. So one practice that I do quite a bit every time I am triggered by someone who makes me feel less than worthy, or I start to feel really jealous, really insecure, or I get the urge to put them down. It doesn't happen often, but before it did. Before I was pretty insecure. You know, we all are at some point in our lives, I think. So what I would do, and this helped me a lot, is every time I would see that or I would feel that feeling, I would make myself actively compliment that person. And this could be verbally communicating with them. If, you know, I'm having a discussion and someone gives me great news, they've been nominated for an award or something, an award that I would have really liked to be nominated for, but I'm not, and it makes me feel bad. Instead of internalizing that and going in this downward spiral of going into a really crappy place, you need to flip that around and actively compliment that person. So either tell them face to face, or if it's not even someone that you know, send them an email, reach out to them on Facebook, send them a little comment on Instagram, and actively compliment them. Especially in the world of social media, it's like a landmine out there. It's so easy to be triggered. It's so easy for our insecurities to be surfaced, because all of a sudden now we have a lot of access to other people who are doing things that are pretty similar to what we're doing. So it's pretty easy to come across someone who's doing what you're doing, but somehow they're doing it way better than you, right? And then instead of looking at that person and being really inspired by them and using that as fuel for motivation and to drive your work and be more creative and work a little harder and dream a little bit bigger. Instead, we kind of get really down on ourselves. We feel bad and we put the other down. So if you notice that happening, even if it is on Instagram, leave them a little message and tell them, actively compliment their work. Whatever it is that you are being triggered by, this is what you need to compliment. For me, this has worked 100% of the time. Every time I turn my jealousy around and I just actively compliment someone for whatever it is that's making me feel really triggered, I immediately feel way better. And the magical thing is, I've formed a lot of great relationships with people from doing that. So people that before I would have never spoken to because they made me feel really bad, all of a sudden, because I'm actively complimenting them, all of a sudden I'm opening up space and we're able to start a conversation and maybe a relationship. And some of my biggest friendships now have started from that. And that could have been an opportunity that I would have missed if I had chosen to stay within my scarcity mindset and to just put them down and talk shit about them or feel bad about myself. I would have totally missed out on that friendship and all the opportunities that have been created from that friendship and from that partnership. So start to think about the people who really trigger you, who really make you feel jealous, insecure, feel bad about yourself, or people that you know deep down you really judge them because they have what you want. Instead of focusing on the lack and on the scarcity, focus on the abundance. Go out there, compliment them, send them a loving, genuine message, and use this as a fuel for your own creativity, for your own ambition. Use this as inspiration for you to reach your goals. Just because someone has something that you want doesn't mean you can't get it for yourself. There's plenty of room for everyone. The second step to shift away from scarcity and to move into abundance is to give more. Whenever you feel like you're not receiving and getting enough, whether that's there's not enough time, you're not getting enough money, you're not getting enough resources or knowledge or skills, whatever it may be, instead of staying in this negative energy where you feel like there's not enough and you want more, cut that out right away and go give something. So for example, for me, when I feel stressed out about money and I feel like I don't have enough money because I look at other people around me and they're doing so much better and I start to get really angry or like I feel really bad about it, first thing I do is I go donate to charity. And right away, that is like a huge wake-up call and a huge shift in perspective where you start to realize like, you know what, I have a lot actually, and who am I to be comparing myself to all these people when there are people who can't even afford the basic necessities of life, right? So that's a huge one for me. Whenever I feel like people have knowledge and skills that I will never be able to learn, and I start to get really down and depressed about myself. I mean, these things don't happen often, but they certainly did a couple years ago. So whenever that would happen, I would stop that in its tracks and I would go help someone else. I would go actively teach someone else a skill that I knew and that I learned. And it's totally magical how in the end, from teaching other people skills, it really reminds you that actually you are knowledgeable. You do have a lot of insight, a lot of wisdom, a lot of information to share with the world. And just because there are some skills out there that you don't have and some knowledge that you don't have yet, doesn't mean that you are dumb and know nothing and are worthless. Like your cup is already full. You're just comparing it with a different, bigger cup. So for me, turning around whenever you're feeling lack of any kind, whenever you feel like you're totally just focusing on your own selfish needs, wants, and desires, cut that out and go give. Give your time, your resources, your energy, your attention, your love, your money, whatever it is, go and give. It is going to make you feel so much better, and it's going to remind you of all the beautiful things and knowledge and resources that you already have in your own life. The third step is really, really crucial. Stop comparing yourself to others. If you're really struggling with the idea of complimenting people that trigger you and you always just feel jealous, at first, you're just going to need to set some boundaries for yourself. That might mean just putting the phone down. It might mean unfollowing certain people that really rub you the wrong way. What tends to happen whenever we are reaching for a goal, either in our personal or in our professional life, we start to compare where we are in our first steps, chapter 1, with someone else's chapter 10, someone who's been doing what we want to do for years. So we look at this person who's accomplished so much, and then we feel like crap because we worry that we're never going to be able to reach that, or we're never going to be able to be as good as them. And we start to compare, but it's apples and oranges. You cannot compare these things. You can't compare anything, honestly. I often get messages and emails from people who are yoga teachers, and they have the deep desire to start a YouTube yoga channel, but they always have this scarcity mindset where they feel like, oh, you already have so many views and so many subscribers and so many videos, I'll never be able to catch up. And that is the wrong way to look at it. I mean, if you were to copy every single thing that I've done over the last 3 years, you still would not get the results that I have. Your results might be better, they might be worse, it doesn't matter, but it would not be the same thing because we are not the same people. Everyone is unique. We all have a different background, a different history, a different mindset, perspective, a different set of beliefs, and different set of blocks. So even if you were to do the same thing that I did over and over, we wouldn't get the same results. So stop comparing where you are with where someone else is. It's apples and oranges. It is not the same. You can use other people as a source of inspiration, and hopefully you will be. Hopefully when you start to see people around you, you'll start to notice that they can be your source of inspiration. You can learn from them. You can kind of model them in a way, but you are never going to be comparing your actions with theirs because it is not the same. And if it's too hard for you to start looking at those people, be inspired by them, and actively compliment them, if you can't get to that part yet, it's too hard for you to compliment people that trigger you, then you need to set some boundaries. Stop following them. Stop obsessing about what everyone around you is doing. Stop following everyone and looking at every single thing they're doing every minute of the day. It's not healthy, especially if you are not secure in your own self-worth. If you don't have confidence and you don't have a healthy self-esteem, it's not going to be a good time for you to obsessively follow other people on social media or even in real life. So try to set some boundaries and really just quit the comparison game. If you notice yourself heading down that spiral and you're scrolling and scrolling on your phone, put the phone away. You don't need it. You don't need to know what your competition is doing at every minute of the day, because really they're not your competition. They should be your peers, the people in your same social group and circle. You don't need to worry about it too much. You do you. Put your blinders on and focus on yourself, on building up your own sense of self-worth until you're able to take those blinders off, and then you know that other people around you, you will be able to celebrate their achievements, and it's not going to, send you in that downward spiral. It's not going to make you feel bad about yourself, and you're not going to resort to tearing them down because you feel bad. Finally, the last step, this is something that we mentioned, or that I mentioned in the 4 steps to manifesting video, but it's just so important. Honestly, I'll probably keep talking about this till the day I die, but it is establishing a daily gratitude practice. That is a surefire way to move away from scarcity and moving to abundance. I mean, it's there just in the words. To be grateful for what you already have is going to make you feel like the richest person in the world, and not necessarily in like money riches, but richness and the fullness of your own life, richness in your relationships, in even the things that you own, and in your experiences, in your knowledge, in your wisdom. Your gratitude practice is what's going to shift your perspective. That's really all it is. Moving from scarcity to abundance is just a shift in perspective. There's not actually any material possessions gained. There are no accomplishments gained. Nothing actually happens except that you are deciding to look at things a little bit differently. So my recommendation is always to wake up and begin each day by saying 3 things that you are grateful for. And at the end of the day, before you go to bed, list 3 other things that you are grateful for. It's amazing. One of my favorite quotes is, "A grateful heart is a magnet for miracles." And I absolutely, thoroughly, 100% believe that. If you can learn to be grateful for the things you already have, all of a sudden you're going to be attracting more and more of that towards you. All of a sudden it won't be as difficult or as terrible of an experience to strive for your goals. It's going to be fun, it's going to be lighthearted, it's going to be a little bit playful, because you're already going to feel good about yourself. Your self-worth is not going to be dependent on those external circumstances, because in your heart, you will already feel so grateful for your life, so grateful for the people in your life and the things and the experiences and the richness and fullness of your life, that anything else you might get, anything else you might strive for and reach towards would really just be like a cherry on top of the cake. Whereas people who have a scarcity mindset, it's like, it's a make it or break it mentality where they feel like they absolutely need this accomplishment in order to be okay with who they are within themselves and how they present themselves to the world. Start to practice gratitude and really just actively say thanks for everything that you have, the amazing bounty that you already have in your life. We are so blessed. I mean, I'm in I live in Canada. I live in a beautiful country. All my basic needs are met. Like, it doesn't take me long to come up with a list of 50 things that I am grateful for, because there is just so much to be grateful for. But the more you are stuck in this comparison game where you feel like nothing is ever enough, the harder it's going to be for you to practice gratitude. And without gratitude, there can be no abundance. And you know what? I think that is where I'm going to wrap it up, because really that is the summary of what it means to shift from scarcity to abundance. Without gratitude, there can be no abundance. It just doesn't work. Thank you all so very much for watching this video. I know it was pretty long and I probably talked way more than I should have, but I'm new to these vlog style videos, so I will get better with time. Just stick by me or stick with me. If there are any themes or topics or things that you would like me to talk about, questions that you have, please leave it in the comment down below in this video, and maybe I can talk about it in an upcoming video. I already have a little list of topics that I really want to talk about on this channel, but of course I'm always looking for suggestions, so please let me know. Again, I do have a worksheet that goes along with this video. You can click down below in the description box to download it. It has some extra resources and some little exercises that you can do to really drive this point home. I love to hear from you. Like, this is my favorite thing about these videos, is the feedback and the discussion that comes afterwards. So even if you're disagreeing with parts of this video, that's okay. Let me know. I want to talk to you. I want to hear from you. Tell me if you feel that you identify with the scarcity mindset, or if you feel that you are pretty good at having an abundance mindset, and if there are any other ways that I haven't mentioned that helps you shift from scarcity to abundance. Thank you so very much for watching this video. Please do subscribe to my channel. I put out weekly videos, and I would love to have you be a part of this community here on YouTube. I wish you all a fantastic day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.